Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we've got a very interesting video. I think it's going to be like mind blowing. Thank you so much to Scott for sending this one through. He has said, since you liked the recent universe video, if you haven't seen it already I'll link it up there. Here's one of the most amazing videos I've ever seen, putting the size of the universe and big numbers in a perspective that you and I can understand and actually comprehend. Your mind will be 100% blown away. Enjoy. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love videos. I feel like I love and hate videos. I don't know, I guess it's like a love-hate relationship because you love like learning that there's so much out there, right? And we are so insignificant, but at the same time you're like, oh my gosh, I am so insignificant. Like, it's a very daunting feeling, you know what I mean? So we're going to check this video out today. Thank you so much to Scott for sending this one through. Let's get into it. All right.
Chuck.
Hey, Neil.
We got another explainer video to do.
I do enjoy the explainers.
You like them? That's very nice.
I do, because I learn things.
Okay,
you know?
That's good. Today's topic.
What is it? Yes.
Big numbers.
All right.
Okay.
All right, let's work our way there. Okay, because I don't think people appreciate how big astronomically large numbers are.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, astronomical as an adjective is reserved for big things and big uncountable quantities.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
There's a reason for that, and I want to elucidate this for you. First, we have to introduce exponential notation.
Okay.
Okay? So that's the number 10 raised to a power.
Right.
Right? So 10 to the third power is 10 times 10 times 10.
Right.
Which is 1,000.
Right.
So 10 to the third power is 1,000. 10 to the fourth power is 10,000. 10 to the fifth power is 100,000. 10 to the sixth power, it's a 1 with 6 zeros, that's a million.
Million.
Okay?
Right.
Are we together?
We're good.
Okay.
Yes. These are all the dream numbers of my bank account. So I have no problem relating to this.
All right. So the number 1,000 is pretty familiar to us all. The populations of most cities is numbered in the thousands, 10,000, 100,000, 500,000, this sort of thing.
Yes.
Let's go up by another factor of 1,000. So 1,000 times 1,000, now we're at 10 to the sixth power, that's a million.
Right.
The largest cities in the world are measured in millions.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm native of New York City. We're 8.5 million or something such as that today. Let's go up by another factor of 1,000. So we go from 1,000 times 1,000 gets to a million.
Right.
Times another 1,000, we add another 3 zeros, we get to what?
A billion.
A billion.
So 1,000 million. We have 1,000 million, and that gives us a billion.
Right.
That gives you a billion. That's correct. And so that's Carl Sagan's favorite number. Okay, let's say billions.
Billions.
That's his favorite number. It shows up a lot in astronomy. Okay,
Right.
There are between 2 and 400 billion stars in our galaxy. There might be as many as 100 billion galaxies in the universe. So that billion shows up a lot. Okay, well, let's try to further understand this. Okay, so how much money does Jeff Bezos have? What's he worth?
I think he's worth 80-something billion.
So let's round that to 100 billion. Okay, so now here we go.
I think that
Suppose
he's
I
worth
had
more than
100
that
billion
now, right?
$1 bills.
All right.
Okay, and
I would be your friend for life.
So what can I do with $100 billion bills? Well, I can take them and put them end to end, and I can go around the Earth 200 times.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a lot.
200 times. Wait, but I have some leftover
1
money.
billion.
Okay.
You still have money left over?
Yes, okay. Okay, so now I'm going to put them vertically and see how high they go. Well, with what's left over after you went around the world 200 times, you can go vertically to the moon and back 10 times.
Wait a minute. That's in addition to going around 2 times.
No, 200 times.
Wait, you are going around the Earth 200 times.
Yes.
And then with the money left over.
Left over.
Now
you stack them
Now you
vertically
could go
up to the moon and back 10 times.
And back.
Are you kidding?
Correct.
10 times.
10 times.
Correct.
Oh, yo, that's insane.
Correct.
So
God.
my mattress money got me to the moon and back. That's the leftover cash.
Leftover cash. Other things. McDonald's used to keep track of how many hamburgers they sold. Do you remember this?
Yes.
If old timers
Over 1
remember.
billion
Billion,
served.
up to 12 billion, 30 billion, 50. Then they just gave up, and you know what they say now?
What?
Billions and billions.
Billions and billions.
Okay, so let's go up by another factor of 1,000. From a billion, which is 9 zeros, to now we go to 12 zeros. So billion, we have by. What would come after by?
Try.
Try.
So trillion.
Trillion. So 10 to the 12th power is a trillion. Okay? About 1 trillion seconds have passed since cave dwellers painted on cave walls.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, here's why that's significant.
Oh my gosh.
Because you can actually count to 1 billion in your lifetime.
Okay.
And I celebrated my billionth second. I don't know if you did, but I celebrated my billionth. I don't know where you were.
Yeah, I don't know where I was either. I'll tell you this much: I missed it like that.
So you live your billionth second between your 31st year and your 32nd year.
Really? Okay.
So I counted that out, and I had a real fast little sip of champagne, and that was my billionth second. So if you counted one number per second for every second you're alive, and don't sleep, and you can do it in 31 years.
Got it.
So how long will it take to count to 1 trillion?
Let's see. You need another 1,000.
It's
on top
1,000 times that.
Not right. You need another 1,000 on top of that. So you got 1,000 times. So you're not gonna make it.
So you need 1,000 times 31 years to get there. How long is that? 31,000 years.
1,000. Yeah. There you go.
So if you want to give a kid a task because they're your kids, say, sit in the corner, count to 1 trillion.
Count to 1 trillion. There you
And
go.
they'll try. They'll be.
And better yet, just make it 1 billion and see them and
True.
keep them going for 30.
True.
Keep them going.
Make it attainable,
So
you
what?
know?
Count to
All right.
1 billion.
So let's go to another factor of 1,000. So we go from
Okay.
billion, trillion. That's 12 zeros. So what would be the next number if we keep it in
Quadrillion?
Trillion?
Quadrillion, and that has.
Okay,
9,
this
12,
is going to be
15
too insane
zeros.
for me to
That's a
grasp.
one-
I already know.
Inconceivable.
I'm getting
Yeah.
it. We haven't. You don't know inconceivable yet. So
Oh my
15
gosh,
zeros.
no.
That's 1,000 times bigger than 1 trillion.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my
A
gosh.
quadrillion, about 100 quadrillion. I calculated this. Is the estimated number of sounds and words ever uttered by all humans who have ever lived.
Say that again, because that was a weird thing you just said.
What? No,
A quadrillion.
About 100 quadrillion.
About
100
100
quadrillion.
quadrillion.
Is about the estimated number of sounds and words ever uttered by all humans who have ever lived.
Oh my god.
That doesn't include flatulence, though.
And I had to have a separate term for congressional filibusters. They're in there too. So you want to get a sense of the scale of these numbers. I'm just putting it in context here in a cosmic perspective.
It's
Let's go
working.
by another factor
It's
of
working.
1,000. So we now have a number 1,000 times bigger than all the words ever uttered. So we went from trillion, billion,
quadrillion.
trillion, quadrillion, quintillion,
Quintillion.
quintillion. So that's a
1,000
one
times
with
bigger.
18 zeros. Okay?
But-
That's about the number of grains of sand on an average beach.
Oh, just one beach. Wow.
Just one
way.
beach. Just one.
No
well,
way.
just next time you go to a beach, just pick up a
Yeah.
handful of sand and just look at it.
Yeah.
And then the sand
Just
is
one
deep and it goes
beach?
into the water a bit and it comes out and it's wide. So you do the volumes. You figure that out. That's how you get a quintillion grains of sand on an average beach. Okay, but we're not done. I'm not done with you, Chuck. Okay.
Listen.
Can you handle the truth? Can you
I don't
handle it?
even know. I can't. I'm going to
And-
tell you the truth. That's just, go ahead. Okay. That's
And keep
one
in mind,
beach.
we left Jeff Bezos long ago in this. in
Right.
what we're doing
Yeah,
here.
I'm telling you, like, this guy's broke. as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't even stop to rob him on the street. You know what I mean? It's like, Dad.
Pennies, mate.
Let's go now 1,000 times bigger than a quintillion. Okay, so quintillion was 10 to the 18th power, 1 with 18 zeros. Now we're talking about 1 with 21 zeros. Okay,
21 zeros.
That has a name. Next up, sextillion.
Sextillion.
1 with 21 zeros. That is the estimated number of stars in the universe.
A sextillion.
Yes.
See, yeah.
That's so many.
So that's 1,000 times larger than the number of grains of sand on a beach. Which is itself 1,000 times larger than all the sounds and words ever uttered. Actually, it's about 10 times larger than the sounds and words ever uttered by all humans who've ever lived. You can take that all the way down. So these are factors larger. Not just additive increments, but factors increments. But let's keep going. I'm not done with you. 10 to the 23rd power. You met that number in your chemistry class in high school. 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power. That's a mole in chemistry. Okay, and a mole is how many particles of a substance occupy a specified mass of that substance. Okay,
Gotcha.
a mole.
A mole.
Okay, and so there are vessels that contain moles of things, 10 to the 23rd molecules. So here you go. You ready? Do you realize there are more molecules of water in a glass of water than there are glasses of water in all the world's oceans?
There are more molecules of water in a glass of water than there are glasses of water in the entire volume of water in the world.
Correct. Okay?
You know what? I'm going to drink to that.
Okay, so wait. Not only that, there are more molecules of air in a single breath of air than there are breaths of air in all the world's atmosphere.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Okay, so what this means, that's not just
my
a
gosh.
fun fact. What this means is when I drink a glass of water, and then it comes out of me 7 different ways, okay? I can sweat it, I can spit it,
urine,
pee,
all
all of this. It goes back into the environment.
Okay, this has gotten really disgusting.
There are enough molecules that I have just expelled to repopulate all the world's water supply with some of the molecules that were in the glass that I just drank.
So here's what we've learned,
That's
people.
bizarre.
When you drink a glass of water, you're drinking Neil deGrasse Tyson's spit.
No, given enough time, it has to remix into the world.
Yes.
So that takes time. So if you can get a character from long enough ago, whoever your hero is it Socrates? Is it Joan of Arc? Is it Jesus? Just go far enough back in time.
At some point, there's
you
a little
can
bit of that in you.
Correct. In the glass of water you drink, there is water molecules that pass through the kidneys of
that's
Jesus.
insane.
There are air molecules that were breathed by Genghis Khan.
Right.
And so
It's
in
still
that way,
here
we are
somewhere.
deeply connected in the fluids we consume and in the air we breathe.
That is so cool. That is one of the coolest facts we have ever divulged on this show.
And you can get that with 10 to the 23 molecules scattered back into the atmosphere or into the waters of the world.
It's all about a mole. Now, how do we take that and find out how we recycle Jeff Bezos' money into my bank account?
Okay, Chuck, I'll get to work on that equation immediately.
Yes, please do.
So working up from the mole, we get to 10 to the 81st power. If you multiply all the stars and times all the molecules and particles they're made of, you get 10 to the 81 power, which is the sum of all particles that comprise the observable universe.
Oh, that's cool.
Now you can ask, why would anyone need a number bigger than this?
I was going to say, there's nothing else beyond that.
Beyond that to count.
Yeah, actually.
Right.
There
What
isn't.
is there to count beyond that?
Okay,
Unless you
but
times that.
doesn't stop mathematicians. So there's a number, a 1 with 100 zeros, nice round, that would be 10 to the
Wow.
100th power. That's called a Google. The company took that word, messed up the spelling of it, and they became the first time most people even ever heard the pronunciation of such a thing.
Google.
Google.
Nice.
1 with 100 zeros. That is 10 to the 19th power larger than the number of particles in the entire universe.
Oh
That's
my God.
that's all right. So what's the use of that? Well, we'll get there. Okay. How about a number that dwarfs the Google? Well, how would you write out a Google? You put a
Excuse
1
me?
and the 100 zeros, right? That's
Okay.
what
Yes.
10 to the 100th power means. There's a number that dwarfs the Google. That's 10 to the Google power.
No.
And is that called a Yahoo?
No.
No.
10 to the Google power is a 1 with a Google zeros, and that's called the googleplex.
Oh, sweet.
The googleplex. Now,
Oh my God,
here's the problem
I've heard of googleplex before.
with the googleplex. How many zeros does it have if you were to write it out?
I have no idea.
More zeros than, let's see.
Google?
More zeros than it would take your child to write out after you sent them to the corner
For a
to
timeout?
count to 1 billion.
So if 10 to the 100th is a Google, and it's a 1 with 100 zeros, then 10 to the Google power is a 1 with how many zeros?
Oh, I have no idea.
It has a Google zeros. If what's in the exponent is how many zeros you have,
Right.
10 to the 21 had 21 zeros. 10 to the 81 had 81 zeros. 10 to the 100th, Google has 100 zeros. 10 to the Google is a 1 with a
10
Google
to the
zeros.
Google.
That's a googleplex. Here's my point. If a googleplex has a Google zeros in it,
Right.
there are not enough particles in the universe upon which you would write the zeros just to express that number.
So there's not room for a googleplex.
To be written
To be
out
written
in full
in-
form
in-
in the universe. That's correct.
Oh,
If you put a zero on every particle in the universe,
You don't have.
It wouldn't be
you
enough.
Run out of room to write the googleplex.
My God.
That's insane.
that's insane. It's completely insane. It's the googleplex. It's a big number.
And wait a minute. So
What
we went
the
through all
heck,
this
guys?
to say it's a big number.
It's a big number. I'm just saying. That's what the session is about.
It's
Chuck.
a big number,
Did you
guys.
get did you get the rhythm
There
of this
we
yet?
go, full circle, and we're full circle.
Holy.
Big numbers.
All right, so now, why do you have big numbers at all? Because you're no longer counting things. You're counting, in one way, in one use of them, you're counting events. So, for example, there is a number that dwarfs the googleplex. It's called Skew's number. It's called
Skew's
it's
number?
10 to the 10th to the 10th to the 34th power. It's called Skew's number.
Okay.
Now that number dwarfs the googleplex, and you can only write it this way with these sort of exponents up there, okay?
Well, because there's not enough room in the universe to write it any other way.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. That's about
not wrong.
the total number of combinations of how you would orient the matter in the universe.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
for example, if I take a molecule within you and swap it with a molecule in me, that's a configuration of the universe. I take something from
Right,
Alpha
right,
Centauri
right,
and
right.
swap it with Omega Ceti 5, which is a fictional place from Star Trek. Swap those atoms, that's another config. Swap 10 atoms here and there, that's another
So you
configuration.
can only imagine.
It's the number of combinations of particle configurations in the universe.
All right, that is pretty cool.
Right. Again, you're not counting things, you're counting events. It's like asking how many possible chess games are there?
Right.
Right? Chess only has, 32 pieces in it and 64
Holy.
squares.
Right.
All right. So there you have it, Chuck. I just wanted to give you a sense of what big numbers are. And whatever is the big number you thought the big number was, there are bigger numbers than that.
There's bigger numbers than that. Right.
Right. And
Well,
for me-
what I have taken away from this is Jeff Bezos isn't
Is poor.
as rich as I thought.
He's a broke.
He's broke.
Broke boy.
Ass Bezos.
So Chuck, there you have it. The cosmic perspective of big numbers.
Sweet. Yes.
that
All right.
was
This
sweet.
has been another explainer video from Star Trek.
Yoo!
And I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, bidding you to keep looking up.
Oh my gosh, guys, that was crazy. But wow, I'm like that. I'm speechless. It's so funny because when I was in high school, early high school, me and my friends always used to say, I love you times Google, right? And then I'm pretty sure my friends Googled, excuse the pun, Googled what's more than Google. And then she was like, oh my God, like, I love you googleplex. And that's where we always started saying, I love you googleplex. And I'm like, oh my gosh, googleplex. I did know that. But this video has put it in perspective how insane numbers are. Oh my God. I'm tripping out, guys. Oh my gosh. You know what? Even though I'm not a math person, I'm really not a math person. Neil really explained that in such a really interesting way that we could understand, you know? I usually get mixed up with numbers a lot, like, you know, I'm not mathematically gifted, if you will. But I followed really, really well, even though we got into the really big numbers. I was like, oh my God, no, I'm following, and insane, like how big numbers can get. And googleplex, it was googleplex you can't write out physically, right? Googleplex, there's not enough molecules in the universe to write out the number of googleplex. What the heck is going on? Wow! You know, I watched this other video as well, and it was explaining how big 1 billion was. And it kind of explaining how much money Jeff Bezos has, essentially. And even then, I was like, oh my gosh, 1 billion is so huge. And 1 billion is so much bigger than 1 million, right? And even that by itself is like, oh my God, like it's so much bigger. So excuse the sirens, guys. So going further beyond 1 billion to trillion, quadrillion, what was 5? What was 5? Cinquillion? I can't remember what 5 was. I don't remember, but you know what I mean, like going beyond that, that's like, it's just insane. It's insane. That was such a cool video, and I'm definitely going to be taking facts from this video and telling people I know, because it's just so mind-blowing, and it's true. I don't think a lot of people, including myself before this video, knew what these numbers mean, what these numbers actually are, you know, how big these numbers are. It's insane, man. It's insane. Thank you so much to Scott for sending this one through. It's so interesting. I hope everyone else enjoyed this video as much as I did, and maybe you guys learned something new as well. Like, I'm sure you learned something new if you haven't watched a video like this before, you know what I mean? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you do have a video recommendation, do head over to my website, which I will link down below, and you can make video recommendations on there. But apart from that, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.